What's going on, guys? Charles Weinraub AKA the Handsome Homebuyer. We got a special podcast episode this week. If you haven't already joined my text platform, you need to join it. Doing a ton of one-on-one engagement in there, talking real estate, construction, Section 8 rentals, you name it, real estate development. We're talking about it. 516-871-3511. I put out a text a couple of weeks ago. The first 6 people to respond to me got to do this one-on-one vlog podcast thing that we have going on right now. So I have 6 of the people. Bunch of great questions, bunch of great feedback, bunch of great dialogue. Hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you. Like and subscribe. Leave us a couple comments. All right, and we are live, and we're live on IG. Look at this. Tech savvy, a Poland Spring bottle, a phone, and some StreamYard. What's going on, guys? Welcome, welcome. My name is Charles Weinraub, AKA the Handsome Homebuyer. We know this. AKA Captain Permit. We know this. AKA El Judío Maravilloso. And we're going to try something a little bit different today. So I get inspiration on my 5 a.m., my newly 5 a.m. bike rides. I go out there 5 a.m., which is miserable, absolutely miserable. But the good part is I get to slim down because I need to get back to my pre-grad school, 160 pounds, carved out of granite, looking like Michelangelo's David with a bigger dick. But during that point, I also get to kind of listen to podcasts and get really cool ideas. So during last week's bike ride, I come up with this idea. I'm like, you know what? Let's get people together on the text platform. And if you have not gotten on the text platform, it's a free text platform. Everybody that is on this live stream right now is in it. People can hit me up every day, all day, asking questions. I get back to people myself. It's not a bot. It's not somebody in the office. It's me. Asking anything real estate related, construction related, property management related, whatever that might be. I'm here to help you guys out, and I really appreciate the feedback. I also get great content ideas from you guys, which is super helpful and really great for the ecosystem and helps everybody out. So what I did last week was I put a shout out text through the platform saying, hey, listen, I'm looking for 5 people who want to come on a live stream and essentially get 8 to 10 minutes just to chop it up, ask me any questions they might have about, real estate, anything real estate related. And we want everybody out there in Atlanta to obviously be able to listen. So I'm going to post in the comments section what the text platform number is. You can also go to my IG. It's in my stories right now. Someone that's in the chat, if they can just pop it in there. This way you can go there, you can join. It's free. Ask me any questions. And then probably once a quarter, I'm going to be doing something like this, and I'll put out a blast, and the first 5 people that jump on are going to be able to do this. So got 5 gentlemen today, all different walks of life, different experiences, levels. I don't know anything about any of them, so I'm looking forward to getting to know them individually. We're going to do like a round robin-esque type of thing where each person is going to kind of go for about 8 minutes, and we're going to go back and forth, and then we're going to go from person to person and work our way through this over the next hour. Is this IG thing working? Bam, this IG thing is working. If you're on IG and you want a better picture, you can go to my Facebook. You can go to Captain Permit's Facebook, Handsome Homebuyer's Facebook, my personal Facebook, or YouTube, my YouTube channel. It's popping off right now if you want to watch it on your phone or computer. So with that said, we're going to bring in our 5 fabulous guests. First one is Ebby, not Eddie, Ebby Jafari. What up? You got
How's it going?
You got a good head of hair too, bro. You got that silver fox thing going on.
Thank you. It's just being old.
Nah. How old are you?
I just turned 40.
That's not old, bro. I'm 41. That means if you're old, I'm very old. And I'm not ready to be old.
Yeah. No, I mean, beside the jokes, I mean, some people like it, some people don't like it. I mean, I kind of like it. So,
dude, I would take any hair right now. We got my man Praise Emmanuel, who I don't know where he is right now, but he is there. We got Nikolai.
Hi, how's it going?
We got Mosin. And we got Mike, whose audio is hopefully working.
Yes, it works.
Yes,
I can hear you.
All right, cool. Awesome.
Hey, guys.
I appreciate it, boys. If everybody can so we're gonna start up with Ebby, and we're gonna rock and roll. If the rest of you guys can just mute so we don't get any crazy background noise, let's rock and roll. And let's start talking some real estate here. So, Ebby, talk to me. Give us first like a 60-second overview of who you are, what you do, what your real estate experience is, what you're hoping to get out of the the next 45 minutes of madness?
Yes, I came to the States in 2009, right? Right in actually June 28, 2009, right after the recession. So I got lucky. I found a job as a tech, little English. I had to go through, the ESL classes every weekend. Finally, I got my ESL. I got my things. I went to school. I got my master's degree to Stony Brook as operation management. So I kind of came up the ladder until 2016. I wanted to buy a house. So I started, doing research and stuff. Got my real estate license. I started, I think, with Element in Setauket.
Nice.
As an agent. Also, I bought the house. I was also got interested into investing and investment. And I bought my first rental in 2018. It wasn't the best experience, the first one, bad tenants, all the stories. I mean, I think I text you once. I say, I dealt with the tenant that they didn't pay, and then it was dead in the apartment. I had to call the police and the CSI come in and all the things. The dog was dead for 3 weeks. The place turned into shithole. I mean, it was such a bad experience, but it was all fun. So I was with Element, and I did with Coldwell Banker for a while. You kind of jump around different brokers to get more experience. And that's not my full-time job. I mean, I'm a service manager for a Japanese company right now.
Okay.
But that's my side hustle and, kind of fun.
Nice.
Looking for investment properties, doing maybe fix and flip, stuff like that.
So what is, do you have a certain strategy you're looking to do? You looking to do fix and flip or rentals? Have you done outside of that one deal? Have you done any other deals since? What are you doing now?
No, I have not done anything. I mean, the past year or so, I've worked with buyers and sellers, but nothing for myself. Obviously family, friends, mostly. I've done the deals up to waterfront, $1.7 million in Westchester County, smaller co-op and condos, $80,000-$90,000. I've done all, different price ranges for people, but not for myself. So I'm looking to learn more about, fix and flip. I have the private lenders right now set up pretty much, loaded and ready to go ahead. But finding deals recently has been the problem with me. I mean, the past few deals that even I went full asking or foreclosures, they always came up and say, "Oh, there's somebody that is offering above asking." I was like, "Wow, how do they make money?" It's impossible. I went with my contractor. We look at it. We thought we gave him a good deal. Good offer, but even with that, somebody came up with 10, 20, whatever, 50,000 above asking. And for the past year or so, it's been very hard to find any deal that we can secure for fix and flip. So that was one of my main questions.
Okay.
How do you find a deal that makes sense?
All right. So let me ask you this before. How much, I know obviously you're a real estate agent and you've been transacting as a real estate agent as well. Have you gotten a lot or any formal training on fix and flip at all? Are you very comfortable? Because there's a couple different things. And I'm gonna tell you guys the real down and dirty truths of real estate, the market, dealing with agents, finding distressed properties on the market and off market, whatever questions you guys have. But you have to make sure that your numbers are really tight, because in a very competitive place like Long Island, if you're off with your reno numbers, or you're looking to make more money than the average person is looking for, or if your cost of capital is significantly higher, whatever, and you're in a competitive market, you're going to get blown out because your numbers might be off. So how comfortable are you with your construction numbers, with your construction team? Are your lenders giving you attractive rates that make it possible to be competitive? What's your team look like?
The lenders that I work with, one of the investors that I worked with in the past, he recommended me to this lender, and because I haven't done any deals with them, obviously I don't get the best rate with them, so they're kind of conservative with me.
Who's the lender?
I think forgot the name. Is it Rock Point or Rock something Capital?
Okay, so
It's Ricky. It's Rick. So I think it's Rock.
Okay.
Yeah,
So basically, so let me ask you this question first. If a great deal falls in your lap tomorrow, do you feel confident that you have the funding and the ability to close inside of, let's say, a 2-week period?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm going to suggest to you also just at the onset before we get into like the deal stuff is this. So I haven't bought a house that was listed on the MLS in probably 4 out of my 6 years in the real estate industry. So that we'll get to in a minute. As far as your lenders go, you want to have a diverse group of lenders that you can go to, right? I never really worked with institutional lenders until very, very recently as I'm looking to expand to do 200 plus houses next year. So what I would do is raise private money. I would put together a private lender pro forma that had certain things. And I have videos about this. I can forward them over to you. This is vital because this is going to enable you to have money at your fingertips very quickly. So like, getting a great deal, a lot of getting a great deal has to do with having the ability to close fast with little aggravation. When you're working with people that can supply you with deals, you want to treat it as an experience. You want to make the experience so pleasant for them that they don't want to go anywhere else. Even if they can get more money, they don't want to go anywhere else. Because the simple fact of the matter is, it is very difficult to find guys that deliver for all the bullshit, right? For all the people that are like, I want deals. Super hard to find guys that convert, do what they say, and are quick. So, and I'm happy to help you out with this. You want to develop a private lender package so you can start pitching normal people. Like my lenders are anywhere from kids I played freaking PAL baseball with to guys that own hedge funds and everything in between. And the great thing about that is this. When COVID hit, I had a ton of money on the sidelines with these people, and I bought 17 houses in March when COVID hit because those private lenders, like the one you're speaking of, didn't have any money. Their credit lines got frozen. So you don't want all eggs in one basket. Plus, a lot of those people, if you've never worked with them before, they have heavy fees, the rates are high, appraisals, it takes them a month to close. Nobody wants to deal with that. I can send an email and close on a deal the next day. My buddy calls me up, yo, you want this house? Yes. I emailed one of my lenders. Hey, you want to fund the deal tomorrow? Yes. Call up Brian Melnick, send the group email. I have all the attorneys in place. They send the wire, done. So that's like a vital part of your infrastructure, right? And forgive me if we don't actually get to the deal part with you, because I know that probably everyone's going to ask about deals on here. So we're definitely going to talk about deals, but I want to talk about other stuff that people don't think about. So now think about the rest of your professional team. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to go out there. Here's your homework, right? And I'm going to email you the framework for the private lender package. I want you to put together the framework for the private lender package. And then I want you to start having conversations with people. All right. I want you to put posts out on social media about, what you're doing, and people will start reaching out to you. But there's a lot of people out there with money, and you're a very valuable commodity. There's a lot more money chasing yield than there are people like you and the rest of the people in this group that can actually make the money. So what I want you to do is I want you to put that framework together. And then I want you to actively interview 3 different institutional lenders, right? And I want you to get their term sheet, their rates. I want you to see, how long it takes them to close, what the ancillary fees are. Is it a recourse loan? Is it a non-recourse loan? And I want you to build the financial backing so that when the deal comes, you're ready and you have like a stable of people to go to for money, so you feel comfortable pulling the trigger, as opposed to pulling the trigger and then being like, holy shit, where am I going to get this money from? The second thing I want to ask you before we wrap this up and then move on to praise is, what does your construction relationships look like? So we took care of your money. Great. We got the house. Great. Who's fixing this house?
I finished my basement, a year ago. So I interviewed a lot of people and I worked with a lot of people. And, I started getting electricians, these 1, 2, 3. I picked the top 3 from that projects and interviewed them, got estimates. And I did a couple of other works with them. After that, I recommended to a few people. I got their feedback. So right now, I'm in a position that I have a good electrician. I have a very good plumber. I have a very good general, like a contractor or handyman, can do little things here and there. The mason guy, I have a very good guy. If I need to dig something, I have a guy that can come in with his backhoe and a bobcat. So I kind of put a team together. I haven't done a lot of work with them, but I've done a couple of times in a couple of different projects with them so far.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. How many hours a week do you work at your regular 9-to-5 job?
40, 50 hours.
Okay, and how much time do you spend every week working with buyers and sellers to get them houses?
It's mostly during the weekends and after 5 or 6 o'clock.
Do you honestly believe that and this is a real question, do you honestly believe that you're going to have time to literally GC your own flips while doing all of that?
No way.
Okay.
Maybe if I do one or two a year, maybe I can, but not going to be, if I wanted the quantity, definitely not.
So the third thing that you have to do before we jump to my man, Praise, is you need to start interviewing general contractors, and you're going to get yourself 3 good, solid general contractors. And you're going to do that by, believe it or not, like I'm going to make a video about this tomorrow, going to local churches in certain areas and asking the pastor, who do they have that's a general contractor, getting referrals, because again, the deals we're going to get to at some point during the next 40 minutes, 50 minutes. But if you don't have these other components in place, it's going to be a nightmare. Preparation is like 95% of it. So I want you to private lender package, to start talking to people. Go out there and get 3 institutional lenders, and at least one of them, if not 2 of them, be locally based so they understand the market so they can move quicker, versus like a Finance of America that's huge and owned by Blackstone, but they don't know Long Island from anywhere. And 3, you need at least 2 to 3 general contractors that you feel comfortable with that can help you with the construction costs and budgeting, and more importantly, run your jobs, because it does not sound like you have time to run these kind of jobs. Is that fair?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So let's get back. Let's go to my man Praise. And again, obviously through the text platform, any questions, but we are definitely going to get to the deals. I promise.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You
know what? You're like Elon Musk for me. I watch all your videos. I follow you every day. Look at your stories to see what's going on. Everybody has a role model, and you are my role model. I appreciate the opportunity.
No, that's beautiful, man. And thank you. That really means more than you know. And obviously, you have access to me through the text, through DMs, through anything. I'm always here to help. Really, don't be afraid to reach out. I mean that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Praise.
So, hi. How's everybody doing?
What's up, man? What's up? Give us the 30-second rundown on who Praise is and how you got that headset, because I need something like that.
Yeah. All right. So, I'm a recent college grad from Binghamton University. I have a degree in economics.
Nice.
And but I'm not necessarily using my economics degree, because on the side I do like I code and stuff like that, like build websites. I taught myself how to do that my last semester of college, and but long term, what I want to do is real estate, and the strategy I'm actually trying to adopt is fix and flip strategy.
Okay.
And right now, I set a goal to buy my first flip this quarter.
Okay.
And so far, I haven't really done any off market like marketing and anything, because of I know it costs money to do that. So what I've kind of been doing is I've been like on Zillow, like targeting for sale by owner properties. Pretty much for sale by owner properties, and I've been able to get like 3 solid leads, but it's just the price point was kind of high, because I'm kind of working with investors, and it's like when you were telling Ebby like, oh, your team, it just made me realize like I'm not solid, because like I just rely, okay, if I find a deal, I'll bring it to the investor. If he likes the price, we partner with it, and he bring the money, he does that, he does this. So it's like I'm kind of like, it made me realize like, wait, I'm kind of almost taking a shortcut, because I'm not even getting my hands dirty. I'm just relying on the investor to say the price is good, and then boom, all right, let's do the deal. But so far, I haven't been able to, lock up any of these deals. And
all right, so let's back it up for a minute, because you said a lot of really interesting things that we can kind of touch upon. So essentially what you're like, all right, and this is a little bit crazy, and nobody wants to hear this, and I tell this to people all the time, and I'm sure if you guys watched any of my videos, you would know that what I'm going to say. I trained with Carl Chavone for like 3 to 4 years before I ever did a deal, before I was even ready to do a deal. And then it took me a year of making offers every freaking week to get the deal. Now, Praise, how old are you? You look like a very young guy.
I'm 22.
Okay, so dude, I didn't even know what real estate was at 22. Like, I didn't do my first deal until like 33 years old. And I was training for like 4 years before that. I know you want to get into it. I know you want to make money. Bro, you have so much time. It's crazy. Really invest the time in education, because I promise you, I use this analogy. If there's a 10-year block and you want to do 300 flips in 10 years, you could spend 4 years getting education and do 300 deals in the next 6 years and crush it and make a ton of money. Or you could try to just do deals out of the gate and then not even do 25% of that and lose money and have a rocky road, and it'll be a lot harder. It makes sense to put the time in up front to get the education. A second thing is, if you're looking to bring these deals in, if you're like, you're not wholesaling, you're looking to bring the deal in to partner with somebody because they have the money, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Very important thing. Remember I said this. Money is the easiest part of real estate investing. If you have the deal that makes sense, getting money is easy. There's no reason for you to give away half of the profit to somebody else who has the money. And more importantly, there's no reason for you to give away half the control to somebody when you've done all the work up front, and they might not know what they're doing either. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the important thing is for you to get the education so that you could do it on your own. Now, just in regards to wholesaling, because here's the thing. I flip houses to buy rentals, because rentals will change your life. You change your kids' lives. It doesn't matter how you get the money to buy the rentals. Are you interested in buying rentals, or you just want to do flips?
Exactly what you just said. I want to use the fix and flip to fund rentals, like apartments and stuff like that in the future.
Okay, so here's the translation, right? The translation is, you just need money to buy rentals. Doesn't matter where it comes from. Could be from building an unbelievable marketing business, doing websites, whatever it is, right? So just make sure that you really love fix and flip. Don't do it because you're like, oh, I can make money and it looks sexy on TV or whatever. If you really love it, like, I can't breathe without it. That's why I do it. So just make sure you love it. If not, all you need is money.
I mean, I do like it because, my dad, he used to own a construction company back when I used to live in Nigeria, and just growing up around it, I just, really liked it. So it's like, that's why I don't really want to do wholesaling, because I don't like it. But like fix and flip, design, stuff like that, I'm really interested in that. That's why I'm like just heavily like going for fix and flip and not wholesaling or the other like avenues. But the long-term goal is to buy rentals.
Okay. So just understand that, you can. Another important thing with the education is, like, I buy rentals with none of my own money and then refinance them and have none of my own money in the deal. If you learn the structure of how to identify and build value within a rental, you can get into deals with no money out of your own pocket. You can raise the money and then renovate and then tenant it, and then go to a traditional lender, and they're going to refi you out up to 75% of the value. And just as long as there's a spread there, you could take all the money off the table, give it back to your investors, have 25% equity in the deal, and be cash flowing every month, and then just keep repeating the process. So that's why, like, the knowledge is so powerful, because with a lot of times you don't even need your own money if you can find a good deal and you know how to identify it, right?
Yeah. And in regards to the education, I actually signed up for East Coast RIA, and
nice.
I did like a complimentary coaching call with Carl, because you always talk about him. So so right now, in terms of education, so I'm kind of working on that. But I was looking to like just push forward and just get it going, but like what you said, like take some time to actually like learn it so I don't get like burnt out. And I actually do have one question.
Sure. Yeah, hit me, man.
Like two questions. So
yeah,
I know there's gonna be like a wave of when the ban is lifted in September, there's gonna be like a wave of foreclosures, So how could I like benefit from that? I know it's gonna be a lot of deals coming out. Like how could I, eat from that?
All right. So the ban. I mean, if I was guessing, and I'm not always right, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't think the ban's going to be lifted in September. I think with the current administration, I think it's going to get pushed again, probably into next year.
Wow.
Same thing with like evictions. I don't think they're going to be evicting people until like next March. And I don't think they're going to be able to do foreclosures. They are actually doing foreclosures right now on vacant properties. So they are auctioning off vacant properties. And auctions is one model of getting deals, but you really have to be doing like 30 or 40 different things consistently well all the time to get good deal flow. But you can actually be going to auctions now. In Nassau County, they're not having them so much. In Suffolk County, they run all. Are you familiar with the auctions and how it works?
No, that was part of the questions I was gonna ask as well too.
Okay, so let me leave you with this. So, and your thing, what your homework is, and I want you guys to kind of report back on me on how this stuff is going. Is so there's a couple different auction providers. You can go to. First of all, there's online auctions. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
All right. So Hubzu, Zome, auction.com.
Yeah, I know auction.com.
Auction.com, Hubzu, Hubzu.
Okay.
Zome, Xome. Now, also, there's a company called Long Island Profiles who sells the lists of the auctions that are coming up. And as well as Property Shark generates and you could sign up for, I believe they have a free account. Property Shark generates lists every single week of the properties that are coming for auction. So I want you to go and check out those sites. I also want you to get familiar with the auction setup. In Suffolk, in Nassau, it's one day. That's it every week. Tuesday at the steps, 11:30, whatever it is. In Suffolk, there's more opportunity because they go off all day, every day, but they go off all over Long Island. So it's like Babylon can have one at like 8:30, then 10 o'clock, then 2 o'clock. Then there's one going off in Brookhaven. There's one going off in Islip. There's one up in Huntington. So I want you to get more familiar with how auctions work, who you have to make the.
I kind of lost you there.
I want you to get, and I just put a video out about this also about Auctions 101. If you haven't seen it, I want you to get familiar with the auction process because it is actually a very powerful tool. One last tip I'll leave you with before I jump over to Motion is online auctions. Bid on every friggin' house. Bid on every house that you want up until your number, and don't worry if you get blown out, because what happens a lot is this. People get buyer's remorse and they back out. So I bought a house not that long ago on an online auction for $225,000 where the winning bid was $335.
Wow.
Because everybody above me dropped out, and then the bank came back to me.
Wow.
The thing that makes it even crazier is the person that was living in there who got foreclosed on had a new husband. When I talked to them about leaving, they wanted to buy the house. I sold it back to them.
Wow.
4 months later, I never went in the house.
Wow.
Bananas, bro. So
Yeah,
check out the online auctions. Do that. Keep in touch with me on the text platform. And we are going over to Mosin. Mosin.
Hey, Charles. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Great. Good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, man. Good to be here. Give me give everybody the 30-second overview of who you are, what you do, and what your experience is in real estate and what you're looking to get out of this next 8 minutes.
Hey, by the day, I'm a banker. I'm a corporate banker at Citibank, and that's what I do at the day. But on the side hustle, I'm a real estate hunter. I bought, not my home, but I bought my house for my dad, my brother. We got him. But last year, I bought my first rental property. I worked it, I rehabbed it, and finally got it out. I rented it out.
Nice.
I'm, all did it by myself. I usually tend to focus on foreclosures. All of the 3 houses that we bought or foreclosure. Even the last year that I bought before even COVID hit, it was a foreclosure, bought it. Never, I'm not a huge fan of GCs, and I try to learn it, try to do it all by myself. And, I did it. There was a lot of, things I learned, town of, Deer Park, Babylon. I worked with him. I know they're kind of slow, but you have to talk to them. I really enjoyed it, working with those people who really can't hear you, but unfortunately they are the best people to work with. They will get your things done. I had, 1 property rented. I'm looking for the second property rented out, or probably looking for a next to, rent.
Okay, so you're a corporate banker by day, and you're basically looking to acquire rentals, correct?
That's what it is.
All right, perfect. So what what are your main pain points right now? Are you renting to cash tenants? Are you working with program tenants? What are you doing?
No, I don't do Section 8. I just, I have a B to C class rental in Deer Park, which I bought, and I gave it to a nice family, and I'm just getting, rental on it.
How many bedrooms?
It's 3 bed and 2 bath.
What are you renting it for, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm renting it for $2,500.
Okay, so perfect. So you're renting it for $2,500, 3 beds, 1 bath.
Yeah, but I rented them out last year around June, when there was nobody was willing to even pay the payment on a rent. At least I got a really nice tenant in, and that tenant is paying actually.
No, that's a win. I mean, dude, that in itself right now is absolutely huge. So before we get into this, I don't know if I put out a bunch of videos about this. I actually just put one out about, did you see the one about rentals? Yes. Can you buy rentals on the MLS?
REOI. Yes. Section 8 in Brookhaven. I'm a huge fan of yours. I've never missed a beat. I know you, Charles by day, and then on the side, you're a handsome home buyer. Yes, I know. I know you walk. I know I'm kind of spying on you, but this is the fun. We learn a lot from you, especially me. I have other mentors too, but I listen to your podcast or things a lot though.
Thank you, man. That really means a lot to me. And I'm happy to be able to help. So
and I think this platform I really want to use, or probably use your help to find the next rental. Section 8 is good, but I think I want to have a variation in my portfolio. I have 1 rental in Suffolk, really looking for something in NASA, just, looking for your tips and kind of other things to, educate me, and tend to look, for other things.
Okay. So hit me. So the first thing I just want to make sure is you make sure you're underwriting you're a banker, so you have a lot of experience in this, but you're underwriting these deals correctly with making allowances for vacancy and CapEx and everything else, and maintenance management fees, all that stuff, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, great. So, what's up?
I just don't do hard money lending. I just go to regular conventional, financing. That's what I do. So far, I haven't done any hard money lending.
Okay. So hit me with the pain points. What are your main pain points right now? What are you looking to learn? What can I do to help you get to the next rental?
Sure. The property that I bought was, last year in February, where numbers were fine, but with the COVID, everybody's, buying houses, they're paying tons of cash. When I sit down to do my number at 70%, it's like my numbers are not where, it should be. And the prices are just very high. And I just don't want to, buy a ceiling price. I'm looking for something, hey, most intend to focus on these things. Yes, the numbers are, but what should I do in this market to acquire a property below the market value?
Okay. So there's a bunch of different things, and that comes in. Mike, do me a favor. You don't have to get on. Just raise your hand. Is one of your main concern where to get deals from?
Yeah.
All right, good. That's all I need to know. So we're going to really hit this home with Mike at the end. But all right. So here's the thing. What are you more concerned with as an investor? Because everyone's idea of a good investment is different. Are you looking for more cash flow, more equity? Do you want a market that appreciates more and you'll cash flow less? Do you have investment criteria for a rental? Like what are your markers to tell you it's a good deal or not?
I'm really looking for a cash flow. I just want at least 200 cash flow. And then over the years, I would just want to have a nice equity on the house.
Okay. So when you say $200 a month cash flow, what ROI is that? What's your cash on cash return that you're looking for?
Minimum 5, or the max is 10, 12.
Okay. So minimum 5%. Yeah. Do you want to create do you want to have equity when you buy it, or you're not so concerned about that?
Yeah, a little bit, equity is fine. But later on, 5 years or 10 years down the road, I want to have equity on it as well. Even if I want to sell it, at least I can get a little bit of money out of it too.
Okay. So it sounds to me like you're more concerned with taking money that you're earning in your 9-to-5 job and putting it to work safely in something that you get, tax advantages of, and you're making money, but you're not looking to make huge returns. Like, you're not looking to make 12, 15, 18%.
Correct.
Okay.
My money is stuck in the bank too. It's not getting anything. So let's say if I put it in a house, at least I'm getting a cash flow. And then later on, 10 years, if I sell it, hey, at least I'll make something on it. And I'll learn something. How many properties ideally
a year are you looking to buy, and at what price point?
My goal last year was to add one property every year to my portfolio. So right now I'm 30. So by the time I'm 50, I'm ready to retire. I will have 15 houses, and that will kind of, give me a cash flow to, send the kids to college and something like that. So just thinking it loud, these are the plans that I have.
No, this is great. So, all right, for somebody like you, believe it or not, really easy to find deals if you have, the time to kind of like put in search, because you're not looking for like massive returns. There is some restrictions with doing rentals in Nassau. I have a lot of rentals. I have like about 100 rentals at this point that I've bought over like the last 3 or 4 years. 2 of them are in Nassau because the prices are really high and the taxes are really high. It's tough. It really is tough. Suffolk County is a lot friendlier, and the rents aren't really even that much lower in Suffolk than they are in Nassau. So you might want to look a little bit more into Suffolk. But for somebody like yourself, so it's very important, in my opinion, to have access to information. You can comb the MLS and find the deals that you're looking for if you have access to it. You might want to consider becoming a realtor. Like, I wasn't a realtor, but I had access to Stratus, to the MLS. So I would sit there for hours at night combing through, and I would set up drip campaigns. So every day, even now, I see the new deals that hit the market. If you're doing that every day and you're looking for kind of like a sweet spot, and I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to buy a house for like $300,000. I would search houses up to like $375,000, something that's like a little bit higher than what normal investors would look at, but low enough that it's like close enough to your strike point. And if you put together like an Excel spreadsheet where you could quickly analyze these things, buying one rental a year for you just off the MLS, assuming you have access to all those deals, is going to be a cakewalk. Very easy. You don't have to, for somebody like you with your investment goals, you don't have to do anything other than comb the MLS at night and get the updates every morning and work with like a good realtor. Oh, here's the thing I'll tell everybody that'll go into it. If you're trying to get a good deal, most likely you have to go to the listing agent, period. You can't use another realtor to put offers in for you. You're going to get blown out of the water, because I'm going to be friends with the listing agent and they're going to be like, yo, Charles, I need you to come in at like $1,000 over this thing. And then I'm going to get the deal, and you're not going to get the deal.
Yeah. And, for the past, 1 year, I've been following on Zillow, Redfin. I just contact the listing agent and I tell them, I don't have a agent. Can you represent me as a seller and the buyer agent? Let me know what I need to do. My strike point is no more than 400, and then minimum is 300. That's a decent, Long Island price, especially in like New Hyde, Franklin, Square. It depends what neighborhood though. So I'm really striking for, NASA. So I have a portfolio, one house in Suffolk, one in NASA. And then kind of, once I get more, then, I'll be like you one day with no hair and massive amount of rentals.
So what I'm going to leave you with is, don't sleep on Suffolk. I would really like you to have a little more focus in Suffolk. I think you're going to get better deals. I really would encourage you to potentially get your real estate license to have access to Stratus and the back end stuff to get better deal flow. This way you have quicker information coming to you, and I guarantee you're going to go get those deals.
Great. Thanks, Charles, for all the advice here.
I really appreciate you. Definitely stay in touch. I want to hear about what you're doing. We are going to Nikolai.
Good afternoon.
The
I'm
man
Nikolai.
with the magic hair.
Yeah, I see. So I was born in New York City, and my parents actually came here as immigrants. And at 10 years old, I moved to Suffolk County. So, and I love it here. You know, Long Island is like beautiful, and well, generally Suffolk County. The closer you get to the city, it just gets worse and worse. But other than that, it's I'm still in school. I'm still in high school. I'm 16.
Jesus.
And I'm gonna be 17 this year.
Be a plumber, dude. Best advice I can give you. Be a plumber.
No.
Be a plumber. Be a plumber who does real estate deals. If I could go back, I would be a plumber. Keep going.
That's already past. That's too late now. I mean, I could look into it, but it's really not my thing.
What are you looking to do in real estate?
Well, I would like to, amass rental properties and starting at 19 and 20. Maybe one or two deals every year and accelerating after that. Okay. But the thing is, I would like to get into the real estate industry, like as a realtor in the beginning. Okay. While I might go to college, I might not. It depends on my decision whether I should go to the military or not. But the thing is, I would like to become a realtor, so I could get more familiarized, like with them, with everything involved, okay. And I would like have hands down experience on just like selling, like whether you're selling houses. So if I were to create a product or anything that I needed to sell, like, or try to convince somebody of, it would help me in that field. And it also, helps me socially because, you just talk to people more and, you just interact with people. And then it's just, if you have like an idea or some sort of, or a point of view, you can present it better. It's just the experience and like what I want to get out of being an agent is going to define me like later on as a full-time real estate investor. Okay. So I guess let me touch on that real quick for a second. That's a great thing. You're super young. And listen, you can make a butt ton of money being a realtor and use that to buy investment properties. There's a gentleman out there you may or may not have heard of named Brian Karp who sells over 200 houses a year. Brian and I are basically playing the same game. He sells 205 houses a year. I flip 70, 80, 100, 110 houses a year. We're both buying rentals with that money. Being an agent is an awesome profession, man. You can make a ton of money. You can have freedom, but it is very, very difficult. I recommend that at the beginning, and most brokers don't do shit for you. Like there's literally like a handful, less than 5 brokers on Long Island that really have any kind of training at all. So there's 2 things you could do at the beginning. You can go to a great broker and sacrifice the money for the education, which isn't a bad idea. Or you could go where you're going to get the most money. Or you do one and then move to the other. You go and get the training, but just don't go to like your regular run of the mill, Douglas Elliman, Century 21, etc., because you're not going to get it. Somebody young like yourself, handsome with a good head of hair. If I had to recommend the perfect training ground for you as a realtor, it would be Dan O'Neill's team, bro. You know Dan O'Neill? No, never heard of it.
So go find Dan O'Neill. He's a realtor with Signature Premier. He's a powerhouse. The kid is he's 27. He's the face of real estate. He started 3 years ago. He's got a team of like 12 young, handsome ass and beautiful people. And his training is as good as it gets. His agents get 30, 40, 50 leads a month coming in to work with buyers that he pays for. He has meetings every week. He is the role model by which I think every team leader or broker should be developing their people. So that's what I would really recommend, and you could do really well with it. But there's a lot of opportunity, man. There's a lot of opportunity in being a real estate agent. There's 30,000 realtors, but only 2.5% of those 30,000 realtors actually really do well.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate that. I actually saw that Brian Karp podcast, in one of your podcasts. I don't know if you created more than one, but I definitely see one because like, you know, because like that's like one of the interests, like, you know, the title of the YouTube video, you know, is just like, you know, real estate agent, or, you know, this guy sells like 200,000. I see his like sign all over the place. Yeah.
So definitely follow him, and definitely follow Dan O'Neill. Those are the two 100% to follow for sure.
All right. Awesome. I do have some questions actually that I brought with me.
Hit me.
And this is, you know, more into like the flipping, and I was just curious, like, more about the flipping aspect of houses, and I want to get into like just learn a little bit more of like how the construction and everything else works, because I don't really know much about it. Okay. So, and I'm always like, my parents like always say like about with rentals and stuff like that, none of the tenants ever pay or anything. So I would like to ask you, how many like, what's the percentage of your tenants that actually don't pay?
Every one of my tenants is paying right now and has paid through COVID. And there's a number of different reasons why. I give them a really nice product. We take care of them like the gold that they are. Millie, who is my rental agent, does an unbelievable job of screening the tenants based on criteria that I give her, and just her street savvy of knowing who's going to pay or not. And I also do a very large volume of Section 8 CDC or program tenants, because those people are much more likely to pay through these situations. You might get a little bit less rent, but as a landlord, you don't make the money necessarily if you're holding for cash flow on getting the maximum rent. You make the money on the people never leaving. That's what it is. Because even like, if I'm getting $2,350 and somebody else is getting $2,500, the average cash tenant leaves every 2 years. The average Section 8 or program tenant stays 11 and a half years. So because of that, you're making more money. If a house is, if somebody moves out, you're going to have to paint, you're going to have to do this, you have to clean it up. Maybe it's vacant for a month or 2 or 3 while you find the right person. Any delta between what I'm getting and what you are getting is gone. So there are a lot of really good paying tenants out there. There's a lot of really good cash paying tenants out there. I'll give you another tip also. If you're going to rent to somebody who's going to pay you cash, use my 3 times the rent net rule. So if you're going to rent somebody a house for $2,000 a month, after taxes, they have to be able to prove to you as a household that they make $6,000 a month. If they don't make $6,000 a month after taxes, and you're charging $2,000 a month, do not rent to them. They're not going to be able to afford it. There's going to be a problem, and you're going to be screwed.
All right.
Hit me with another question.
So what is the usual time frame that is your preferred time frame to getting a single family house flip done? So, you know, because like you try to limit like the amount of months that you have to get a flip done, so you could, you know, so you don't have to spend that much, you know, all the expenses every single month. So what is your preferred time frame? So
when I run my pro forma, I budget for a 6-month cycle. So 6 months close to close is my cycle. You know, right now it's a little bit tougher with, you know, labor shortages and material and stuff, but I budget for a 6-month cycle, and we can do a full gut renovation in approximately 8 weeks. So that's literally everything new in a house, 7 to 8 weeks ready to go. So we buy the house, you know, we file permits before, we get the permits, we go to work, let's say 2 or 3 weeks into it. 8 weeks later, it's done. It's on the market. We get an accepted offer. It's under contract within 30 days or less. It's 60 days to close. We're in and out in 6 months or less, generally. As the market adjusts right now and you have issues getting material and labor and stuff, you might have to budget for a 9-month cycle or an 8-month cycle or a 12-month cycle. But typically it's 6 months. Hit me with one more before we go to Big Mikey on the end.
Do you like to when you build new construction houses? I actually seen one of the latest videos, like where you compared the new construction with just flipping.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you're hiring people like to fix up your properties, or build new properties, do you like to specialize, hiring a plumber or hiring an electrician, or is it better to have a general contractor do majority of the things? Like, what is in what scenarios and in your opinion would be like what would you choose? You know, like,
okay. So when building a new house, one's not better than the other. It's a matter of you personally. And I'll give you an example. Like, Ebby is working 60 hours a week doing all this other stuff. He's not going to have enough time to GC a job and, go out there and put bids out to 3 plumbers and 3 foundation guys and 3 framers and 3 insulation guys and 3 HVAC guys and 3 roofers and 3. He does not going to have the time to do that. He's not going to have time to make sure they show up, check the work, do all of those things. If he also may or may not have the knowledge to know what he's looking at, right? So it's all a matter of your experience, and how much time you have. If you don't have the knowledge and you don't have the time, you can make a lot of money with a GC. Just you have to understand that the GC is going to charge you a fee, and you have to negotiate that fee beforehand so that you know how to budget that, and then you're just going to take that off the top. So if your maximum allowable offer was $300,000 to buy this piece of land, then the GC is going to charge you $30,000. You're either going to only bid up to $270,000, or if you were supposed to make X amount of dollars in profit, you have to be willing to take a little bit less money, but still be in a safe deal. So one's not better than the other. It's just a matter of what works best for you, given your level of experience, your connections, and how much time you have. I'm going to let you hit me with one more because you've got really good questions and they're undeal related, and we're going to end up just hammering deal stuff for more than 10 minutes with Mike. I know that.
If in any scenario you would be dealing with a tenant that doesn't pay, do you have like a lawyer on standby, or like how do you deal with the court system? But I know in every county it's different, like because like Suffolk County is like more pro landlord compared to Nassau and the boroughs, but what is like the general layout of what you would do?
So I have an attorney that I use for evictions. His name is Eric Habib, or AKA Eric Get the Fuck Out Habib. And Eric specializes primarily in evictions. The thing with evictions is this, guys. The minute you smell a problem, don't be nice. Start the eviction. If they end up paying or whatever it is, and you get back on track, you can always stop it. But the first micro sign of somebody not paying, and I mean to the letter of the lease, if they're 30 days past or whatever it is, you file that thing. You don't want to be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months into it and then realize, shit, like I'm screwed here. And now you have to get into the eviction process. Act fast on the evictions. Hit me with another one, man.
You kind of already answered this in the previous, I think you were talking to Praise about this one, but what is your future? What do you think about the market in the future? Like, other than, you said, the administration is probably going to extend the moratoriums and everything, but what is your long-term, what is your 5-year or 2-year and 5-year projection of what would happen? What your opinion?
Of what the market's going to look like values and shit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I can't say, so this is what I believe. And again, I don't have a crystal ball. I did, to pat myself on the back a little bit, predict a recession of some kind at Q4 of 2019. I was a quarter late and I had no idea COVID was going to ransack the world. I didn't even know what the hell COVID was, but there's cycles to things, right? And when you learn about this stuff, you learn that there's major recessions with 8-year recoveries and minor recessions with 2-year recoveries. That's what we're in right now. I think the market's going to be great this year. I think the market's going to be great next year and probably great the year after that. I think, 4 to 5 years from now, somewhere in that neighborhood, we're going to have a really freaking bad recession. Typically what governments do is they come in and with what they just did, just fill the world with money, which essentially stops us from going into a really bad recession, but just kind of sets us up for what's going to be a really bad recession down the road when you just can't stop it anymore. So the good news for you is this. You're young, you have a lot of time. Get the education, get ready, because if you spent the next 3 years really learning, get your real estate license, started making some money, you could be 20 years old, knowing everything with a ton of connections. The freaking world goes on sale, and then you just start buying stuff. Also, one last thing before I go to Mike. Never get emotional about a deal. Never feel like you have to buy because the market's going up. The market goes up, the market goes down. It's not emotional. If the numbers make sense, you buy it. If the numbers don't make sense, you don't buy it. It's that simple and that easy. All right. You got a lot of time. You got a great head of hair. I hope you hold that forever. I'm going to Mike. Nikolai, stay in touch. You're the man, bro. You're a sharp kid, and I have a lot of hope for you. I think you're going to do big things.
Oh yeah, I actually just like to leave on this good note. My teacher, Mr. Hanlon, Ken Hanlon. Yeah,
oh yeah,
I texted you. Like.
Oh shit, Ken Hanlon's the man.
Yeah.
Was I in your class? Did I speak in front of your class 2 years ago or no?
No, I wasn't there. No, not 2 years ago.
Okay,
different one. So yeah, just this year I had him, but I actually had him in 7th grade, but I had him this year in 11th grade as well, for the first half of my year. But he told me about you. That's how I figured you out.
That's dope, man. That's cool. I'm glad you did, and keep me updated on everything you're doing. All right, Mike.
Hey, Charles. Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Right.
Now, give everybody the 30-second overview of who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Mike Plachter. I'm a CPA, 10 years of commercial real estate experience.
Nice.
And I'm looking to transition to be a real estate investor. That's my true passion. And I need to thank you. You had that event last year, the LLS event. And I don't know what it was, whatever clicked inside me to really start taking action.
Nice.
I was attending East Coast RIA for about a year before that. I got involved with that through Ralph Rivera.
Nice. My Uncle Ralph.
Uncle Ralph, he's the best.
I love
So he
Uncle
introduced me to Carl. And so ever since that event, something clicked and I just started taking action, and I'm coaching with Carl now. I'm really learning a lot there. So
that's great, man.
I want to thank you for that.
Dude, very smart. Very, very smart. He's the best. That guy took me from literally not knowing a thing about real estate to like everything I'm doing now and beyond.
Yeah, he's the best. And like to get into some of the things he really preaches is building out your network. Yep. That's kind of where I wanted to go with this as far as building, a deal pipeline and really getting deals is I come to the realization it's really about the network more than it is like marketing and whatever like the hot, tip of the day is. And so I kind of been attending some like open houses, not necessarily looking at the properties, just to meet the realtors. And one of the, for example, I met a realtor, and ever since that relationship started, she's been sending me deals like pretty consistently. So what I'm trying to do is I need some advice on networking, like to just build out a team of people just like her. And that's kind of, where I was going with that is any tips you have on building out a network of realtors, just like the one, I only have like one or two so far, so I'm really trying to build more.
Yeah. So awesome. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all things deal related now, if that's cool. So very smart. Cause here's the deal. I built a big business off of primarily relationships. I didn't spend any money on marketing and advertising for a very, very, very long time. It's only recently, now that I want to get into like that disrespectful 200 plus house limit, that I'm really starting to like spend money on marketing and do all that. So the network is 100%. Like if I go back at the end of every year and I quantify all the deals that I took in, the overwhelming majority of those are based on relationships, without a doubt. So what you want to do is you want to build relationships. Now, I am 41. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. And building relationships takes a lot of time. It's inexpensive. It doesn't cost you any money, but it takes a lot of time. So my first question to you is, how much time do you have? Are you married? Do you have kids? What's your status?
Yeah, I'm married with a kid and work a lot, so it's very difficult. Okay. And I'll wake up early. I do whatever it takes. I wake up early, work on the weekends, go to open houses on the weekends, whatever it is. Maybe during lunch breaks, call people and network. I'm doing a lot, but I only have so many hours in a day to do it. So we're going to talk about deals in general. We're going to talk about networking and just meeting people. So you have to be out meeting people. Like you have to set a goal for yourself. Maybe I can go out 5 nights a week so I can meet more people faster than you. But you know what? Like you have a different kind of life, and that's perfectly fine. But you have to set a goal for yourself. Hey, listen, I'm going to go out 1 night a week. I'm going to go out once every 2 weeks. Let me just tell you some stuff I did on the networking front, and then we'll get into all the other like
like ninja deal strategies after. I would go on. So social media, what platforms do you have?
Instagram. I have a Facebook. I don't really use it that much as I should, but I do have an Instagram.
Okay.
LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn account.
All right. So everybody on this thing and everybody listening needs to have every social media platform going. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, you name it. Right. And you like what I would do is I've met a ton of agents by literally like I would on the weekends, if you can, go out to every open house possible. Bring your investment criteria and a business card. Shake the realtor's hand, introduce yourself, say, hey, listen, my name's Mike. I'm training with Carl, this, that, and the other thing. I'm buying properties. I would love to work with you. Here's my information. Then I would take their card. Then I would go home and I would stalk them on social media and I would friend request them. And I would, in a not so creepy way, I would kind of weasel my way into their life. So they were constantly seeing me and hearing from me and all that. Take them out to coffee, hang out, have a good time. But here's the most important thing. They're going to like you because you seem like a very likable guy, and they're going to send you a deal. And you have to get back to them right away and tell them if you love it or hate it and why. Because there's nothing more frustrating for a realtor, for someone who sends you opportunities and then you just go ghost, right?
Yeah, she said, like, I have a realtor who sent me really good deals, like some are off the market, and we're really getting into the nitty gritty on these things and analyzing them and sending out pretty good offers, and we're missing on a few, but she is sending me like really good deals. So
yeah, so you have this model and now you have to replicate it. So you want to go to realtor events, you want to go to investor events and investor meetups. You want to do something like, bro, start your own podcast, dude. Start your own podcast. You could do it on StreamYard. It's cheap as hell. Reach out to random realtors and say, hey, listen, I have a podcast. I'd love to talk to you. There is not a realtor in existence that will not come on your podcast. And what you're doing is you're creating content, which is awesome, that you could put out as a podcast. You could chop it up into pieces inexpensively and put it out as more content, because I know you don't have enough content. I didn't look at your page, but I know you don't have enough content. And now you're building relationships with realtors who are going to love you because you're giving them a platform. So if you don't have a lot of time to go out and meet realtors, you need to be efficient with your time. So I would basically be hitting everybody and their mother up on social media all the time. I would start a podcast and I would do like a podcast a day for like 45 minutes and just meet realtors that way. If you can't get out of your house, you could have 45 minutes. You could spare 30 to 45 minutes every day to do a quick podcast. Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Boom. So you could do a 30-minute podcast, or you could do an hour long with 4 realtors, and you could do 15-minute rapid sessions with them. You could do stuff like that, but there is not a realtor in existence that won't want to do that. You also want to try to get in touch with, real good wholesalers and things like that. But if you're just talking about building a network, it's about meeting people and then really taking care of these people. Like when I do a deal with a realtor, bro, I make it the most fun thing ever. We make videos with them. We promote them. I do a sick job on the house. I write the description. I take the pictures for them. I put a lockbox on the door. I put extra keys in there for them. They literally don't have to do shit. They feel like it's the royal treatment. And your average really good realtor is maybe you'll get 1 or 2 cat piss smelling houses a year. You want to make sure that experience is so pleasant for them that they only think of you. Right? So you want to create the experience. You also want to make sure that you always relist at least 4%. So each realtor gets 2%. You want to make sure that these people are making money. There's a lot of realtors that get screwed out of commissions by investors, and it's a stupid, stupid move.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, I mean, if there's anything you want to talk about with the deals, I'd love to hear it, because otherwise I'll just go into a different topic. But yeah,
so let me just drop some more deal knowledge for everybody on sourcing deals. So here's the thing. You can't it's overwhelming at the beginning because there's so many different ways to get deals, but you can't just do 1 or 2 things because you're not going to get deals. So outside of deals, you want to make sure that you're a diverse investor, in the sense that if you want to just flip in one area, it's going to be difficult. You want to make sure that you're versatile in the fact that you can flip. If you're flipping, you want to be able to flip all over Long Island. You want to be able to put dormers on houses. You want to be able to build new construction. This way you have more deal flow, right? When it comes to deals, there's a bunch of things. You could go to obviously auctions like we talked about with Praise, who's that's his homework, right, Praise? So online auctions and in-person auctions.
Okay.
Very interesting thing. So you have that. We know that. Driving for dollars and cold calling. There's a bunch of free skip tracing software around. You could spend an afternoon, throw the kids in the car and be like, yo, take your iPads, or we're going on a hunt for, shit houses. Let's go. Or you get on a bike, put the kid in the back. Now that it's nice, drive through neighborhoods looking for houses that are boarded up. Go back to your house, free skip trace online. Find out who the people are, call them up, say, hey, listen, I drove by the house with my kid. We're looking for a house for the family. I see this is boarded up. Are you interested in selling the house? Very powerful thing, boots on the ground. Networking, biggest thing ever. Go out to events, go to the RIA, go to different events, go to meetups. Now that things are opening up, really big thing here, super easy. Every time I meet somebody, I'm like, hey, my name is Charles. And I ask them about who they are, what they do, what their goals in life are, what are their dreams. And I figure out if there's anybody in my network, and I actually really give a shit. So that's an important thing. I actually care about them and their success. And then I try to hook them up with people in my network that can help them achieve their goals. And then I tell them about myself. Hey, my name's Charles. I'm a fix and flip investor. I'm looking to do 200 houses next year. I'm going to own a private equity fund in 3 years. You never know who you're talking to. Tell every person you meet what you do, ask what they do, and try to help them with what they're trying to achieve, right? Social media, bro. Social media is massive. And I get deals through everything I'm telling you and more. Social media, you need to be on every platform, hitting people up on every platform, making friends on there and posting content every single day as much as humanly possible. Don't worry about the production quality. Don't worry about the way you look. Don't worry about anything. Just start talking about relevant shit and it's going to work, because the realtor you meet today might really like you, but they have a busy life and they'll forget about you. But if you keep popping up on social media, or if you keep, hitting them up on social media or shooting them emails or whatever it is, you're going to be on the front of their mind. That's why I work, because people just see me all the time. Constant Contact or any kind of email blast server. When you meet these agents that you're going to put on your podcast, or when you go out to open houses and you meet the agents, take their information, put it into a Constant Contact email blast once a week or once every 2 weeks. Don't do it to be spammy, but whenever you can, on a regular basis, send them an email about a house that you just did, or an interesting article you found, or a video from somebody else that you think could help them. Whatever it is, stay top of mind. Then there's traditional stuff like TV and radio. Direct mail. Direct mail works. It has a very low conversion rate, but it's a very predictable conversion rate. Podcasting. Like we just said, dude, podcasting is the cheapest, easiest, awesomest thing, and a way that you can build relationships and meet people that you would otherwise never have met before. Building relationships with different wholesalers, other investors that have excess deal flow or that perhaps don't want to go to your area. There are guys that only buy in Suffolk. When they get a deal in Nassau, they call me and I take it. There are people that don't like to do new construction. They only like to flip. There are people that don't like to do rentals, so they call me. I literally haunt people's freaking dreams. It's really that simple. And like I said, it's a combination of all the things. Like somebody in my office makes a phone call to a guy who lost his mother about a year ago, and the house is like, they're looking to sell the house. It's an estate sale. They make that phone call, set it up. The guy hears about me, goes to YouTube, watches my videos. He's like, I like this guy. He's cool. He's real. It establishes credibility. I come down and meet him. We hit it off. I make the offer. Bam, rock and roll. When I made the offer, he was a little hesitant. And then he's like, you know what, man? I saw you on TV like 3 hours after you were here. Like, you're funny as hell talking about cat piss. I want to sell you my mom's house, even though it doesn't smell like cat piss. It's it's this machine that's branding, and you just have to do all of it. Now, at the beginning, it's really overwhelming. So what everybody here should do is make a list of everything I just said and more. Make a list of every marketing strategy out there, right? Then take 3 and get real granular with those 3 and then start to execute them. And then you're going to start to get deals. And then you could hire somebody to help you. And then you take another 3 and you keep working your way down until all of a sudden you have like a 40 vertical marketing plan, 30 people working for you, and you're bringing in 100 houses a year.
Awesome. All right. So I was want to switch over to the towns. So pretty much they seem like a nightmare to deal with.
They are a fucking nightmare.
And ultimately, for example, I'm looking at a deal, or I was looking at a deal in Massac Beach. And, I was talking to Mike. At the end of the day, it was going to be like a 6 to 8 month process from the time I bought it to the time I actually sold it. If you were to do everything legit and, pull permits, all that. And just the numbers didn't make sense. Yep. However, let's just say if I were to, buy the thing today, started working on it, and not that I'm going to do this, but just started working on it, flipped it in a matter of 3 to 4 months, you can see the numbers making a lot more sense. Just, you don't have to pay the holding costs and everything, and the interest, all that stuff.
What town's the house in?
It was in the town of Brookhaven.
Okay.
It was in Massac Beach. So the question is, like, what do you, what is the gray area? Like, what do you pull permits on? What do you not pull permits on? I mean, I don't know if you can answer that.
Yeah, of course. So listen, I fucking hate permits, bro. I fucking hate them. They're a nightmare. The only reason why I have Captain Permit is because I couldn't get my own shit done because I had architects disappearing with my money, never to be found again. So there's things here. There's certain townships where you can't fuck around. And then there's certain townships where you should roll the dice. But then there's caveats to that. So let me start at the beginning. If you're anywhere in Nassau County, you can't fuck around. You can't. Babylon, getting really tight. Islip, 50-50. Brookhaven, fuck it. Try to work without a permit. But very important thing to know is this. You have to check the title reports when they come in for violations and things, because what happens is this. You go to work, you do all this work, you're done, you're like, yeah, didn't get busted. And then all of a sudden the title report comes back. What happens is you get away with it. And then the title report comes back and it says that there's a violation for something that requires the town to come in the house and do the inspection. When the town comes in, they're like, oh, you renovated this whole place. And you have a deck, a shed, an awning, and an extension that doesn't have a permit. And then they whack you for everything. So you got to be smart. Like when the title reports come in, when you buy them, you have to review them to make sure, because attorneys aren't looking at them because they don't know what the hell they're looking at. And in certain cases, you could close this stuff out at the beginning. Like, let's say you had a violation for an illegal second kitchen in the basement. You buy the house, you rip the kitchen out, you call up the town, they come down, they inspect, they remove the violation. Now go to work without permits, bro.
Okay, and you would see all that in your title report, when you buy it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. When title comes back before you buy it, And then listen, there's certain times with, money's money. So in certain places, like you have to get permits, you have to budget for it. In certain places, listen, bro, file the permit, go to work. Even if you don't have the permit, fuck it, go to work. Maybe if they see that you filed the permit, a lot of times they're like, they'll be cooler and they won't bust your balls as bad. That kind of stuff happens also. Sometimes they just shut you down. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to make money.
Yeah, I agree. I guess the last question I had was the ARV. So determining an ARV for a property. I use PropStream, but I don't have access to the MLS. And getting back to that deal I was telling you about, I determined an ARV of 360.
Okay.
Just because a couple of blocks away there was a 3.2. This would be a 3.2. They were similar. I think they're both capes. It was updated, pretty nice. However, if we were, let's say, to flip this thing and do it up really nice, I think it'd be worth more than 360, just because it might be a little nicer. Everything's brand new. And I thought maybe, you can get 370, 380 for the property.
Okay.
Now, I didn't factor that into my, evaluation because I just didn't have the data to support that number. So I went with 360 and the numbers didn't necessarily work. So I guess, how do you determine, how do you adjust for things up and down when you're looking at comps?
All right. So comping out a house is as much an art as it is a science. There's very few people that are really, really gangster when it comes to this kind of stuff. The first thing you need is access to information. So again, if you are not a realtor, you really need to get access to the MLS database, because Stratus has a lot of information that is going to be really, really, really helpful. But it's not just that. When I'm comping out a house, I use, a map to see where it is, because there's a lot of areas that are very pockety. And just because you're within a certain town, a certain school district, doesn't mean that like on this side of the tracks or on this side of this road, it's not grossly impacted. So I will use like Zillow in certain cases. I'll use a map. I'll use all these things in conjunction. I'll use Stratus, the back-end realtor database. I'll use Geodata Plus. Anybody can buy. It's pretty inexpensive. And I'll use all those things. And you want to be looking at certain things like where the location is. Is it on a corner? Is it on a busy road? Things like that. How does it compare to the rest of the properties in the area? Square footage, basement, no basement. Is it in a certain pocket that sells for more money or less money? And that's the thing. I mean, typically, there's a bunch of different ways to evaluate these things. There's certain people that say, hey, listen, you take the median sales price of the same type of house and you add 5% for a renovated house. For me, it's just a feeling. When I look at the data, I compare square footages, I get a feeling where the market is. Deductions. Let's talk about deductions for a second. I deduct for negative locations anywhere from, let's say, 3 to 25%, depending on the severity. And what do I mean by that? If you have a house on a busy road, if you have a house on a corner, if you have a house, on a next to a gas station, whatever it is, you have to look at the house and say, hey, if a mint condition house on a nice block is selling for 400, if I'm on a corner, I'm going to have to deduct, let's say, 5 to 10%, depending on the market, because everybody would much rather have a traditional backyard than a side yard. And the only people that buy corner properties are people from the city that don't realize it's a corner property, or people that grew up on a corner property. If you're on a busy road, it might be a 10% or more deduction. If you're on a corner on a busy road, instead of being normally 10% or 5%, maybe it's 15%. Those are the things that you kind of have to play with. But you really need access to information. You need time playing around with this stuff to see where different stuff sold. And you really need to look at a bunch of different mediums like Geodata, Zillow, and Property Shark and Stratus to really get enough data to see, what's this stuff really selling for.
Okay. And are there any resources you would recommend to to learn more about the comping process, or just what you were saying?
No, it's just kind of a feeling like you're going to, let's say you're looking to comp out this cape. Sure. You're going to pull all the, all right. Actually, here's another thing too. You want to look at houses that are under contract, which is hard to do if you don't have Stratus, right? Right. So becoming a realtor to get access, or getting access, is really important. You want to look at houses that are under contract within the last 90 days. Because even though they're not closed, you can check the days on market and things like that, and you can get a feeling for like where the market's going. Okay. And you want to check houses that have closed in the last 180 days. But the go forward for me has actually become more of a tell than what's happened in the past. So, those things that you really want to look at. If it's a 3-1 ranch, if it's a 3-2 ranch with a basement, you're going to line up all the 3-2 ranches with a basement. You're going to see what the median sales price is if there's 8 or 10 or more of them. So it's a big enough sample size. You're going to start comparing the condition of, what they look like and what's selling at what number. You're going to look at the days on market. Obviously, the faster it sold, the hotter it was. You're going to look at the market in general to see how many houses are listed on the market, how many of them sold, what's the available inventory, what's the absorption rate, is there 30 days worth of product, 6 months worth of product, 12 months worth of product. You're going to compare the locations of, is it corners, is it busy roads, and you're going to compare square footage. In the first-time homebuyer market, 3 to 4 bedrooms is not really command a bigger difference in price, unless you're in certain communities where they're renting out parts of the house. And that's another thing, when you're building the house, are you setting it up for that particular area and that particular group of people that are looking to buy? So it's as much as art as it is a science. You need access to all that data, and you need to spend time researching and seeing what sold. How long did it take? Why did this one sell for $460 and the one around the corner sell for $480? Is this one that sold for $550 an outlier, or is there something really special about this property? Is the zoning different? Can they put horses there? Is it 300 feet deep when everybody else's is 100 feet deep? What is it?
Okay.
So,
okay. I'm sorry. That was about it. That's the only question I had, really. So.
All right. Well, that was about an hour and a half. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I appreciate you doing this. Again, I want to hear from all you. As a matter of fact, what I would love to do, if you guys are up for it, and you seem to be people that are into video, 30 days from now, shoot me an email with a video with an update, like, questions, and then also, what you learned and what you've done, because I'd love to do a side-by-side and respond to it and post it on social media. A, I can give you more feedback. B, it's going to be really cool for me to hear how this hour and a half segment impacted you guys. And I'm always here for you guys as a resource, whatever you need.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it.
Guys, thank you. Ebby.
Charles.
And
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you very much.
Praise. Nikolai.
Thank you.
Keep killing it, man.
Appreciate it.
Mohsin,
Thanks,
you're my
guys.
guy, man. Whatever you need.
Thank
Mike,
you.
Thank you, guys.
Take
Have
care.
a great one.
Have a good
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.